All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome my special guest from Northern Illinois, linebacker Quinn Urwiler. Bro, how's it going, man?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Oh, I'm doing so well, man. And for those people who are not familiar, man, tell us who you are, man.
My name is Quinn Urwiler, the middle linebacker for Northern Illinois University. Um, had 141 tackles this year, 71 solo, which ranked third in the nation. I was first in the nation in solo tackles. Was all conference and was an All American.
That's good to know, man. Played at the MAC, played at a pretty solid competition. So what got you into football in the early part of your age?
Yeah, so like growing up, I was always around football. My dad was actually a high school football coach, and I just remember always going to his practices, and he basically let us like practice with the high schoolers. And so from a young age, I just remember always going there and practicing with the older guys, and just messing around. And really, that's where the love began. And then kind of just took off from there. I started tackle football in second grade, and then just worked my way up.
So it started coming from your dad when he was coaching, right?
Yes.
So a son of a coach, okay.
Oh wait, yeah, yeah.
Has to be cool to even play with your dad as the other way around, right?
Yeah, so like I remember when I got to high school, my dad actually coached me and my he coached all three of us. I have two other brothers. I'm the middle. And he went to a different high school to coach my oldest brother. And then after that, he came back and coached me and my younger brother at the other high school. And it was just it's always like really cool to share those memories and everything on the football field with your coach, let alone be your dad too. So it was cool.
It's got to be a cool moment to be coached by your father and all that. That's something that can stand out, like even throughout times and all that. But what was the offers like coming out of high school?
So like the offers were not offering. I could say that. I guess I had a really good junior year of high school, and I was all right, this is when you start getting looked at and stuff like that. And I attended two camps, the Northwestern Mega Camp and then the North Central Camp. And I was performing well and really good, I thought. And I ended up only getting two offers. One to go to University of North Dakota, and then the other one being Eastern Illinois. I talked to some other schools, kept going back and forth. I went on visits, to a couple other schools, but nothing really came about it. They just ended up, either like just kind of like ghosting me or just saying no, we're not really interested. And so yeah, I really got stuck with two schools and ultimately committed to North Dakota.
Okay, so you started off at North Dakota, and then so what was the experience like going from North Dakota?
It was good. Like when I went out there and visited, like I loved it. It was just a great scenery. I guess you could say I fit well into the scene there. I like being out in the country a little bit and just being out there alone and stuff. And it really fit my style of football. I guess you could say what they were running over there, and it was it was really fun. And then when I transitioned back to come to Northern Illinois, it almost was just like because like Grand Forks is it's low key kind of like small in a way. Like that's their football out there, and they love football. So coming back to NIU, and it's like like, the crowd is like hit or miss sometimes. You either have a good crowd or a bad crowd. So it was always just kind of like I was always like, man, I was like, we gotta get some more fans here. So I don't know. To me it was an easy transition just because ultimately I wanted to be at NIU. I mean, I was kind of waiting to hopefully get an offer out of high school from NIU, but it just never happened. But when I made the transition, it was smooth and it worked out.
I mean, it's better late than never, like they say.
Yeah, yeah,
But I mean, at least you were able to experience a different state, and it was no different than what you grew up from. So at least you made that transition to go back to Illinois. So what was the experience like from going to Northern Illinois?
So my experience at Northern Illinois, there's always highs and lows. At the end of the day, I had a great experience. Coming in, not really, I guess you could say being at the bottom of the depth chart, just like, hey, I got to work my way, up in the depth chart and show these coaches that didn't recruit me in high school that show them like, I can play for them. Um, and going into my first spring ball here, I didn't see a lot of reps. I was just, always hang out in the back. Like the coaches, they didn't call my name to get in, and I was like bummed out by that. And I actually got to the point to where after spring ball, the coaches told me that like you can only carry 105 to fall camp, and we had like 120 guys, and they called me in and told me I wasn't going to um, make the cut to come into fall camp, and I would just be staying at home. I would still be on the football team, but I'm not going to report back to fall camp. I'll come back when the season begins, so like when school starts. So that basically means like they ain't gonna use you. You're just gonna be a practice dummy. Uh, and so I actually got sent home, and I remember I just tweeted out like something on Twitter, and was like, hey, I just want to hit somebody. I just want to play football. Like, that's it is what it is. And thankfully, Coach Hammock he called me the next day and was like, hey, we got a couple guys transferring out. Why don't you come back and show us what you got? And I just remember from that point on, I was like, hey, I ain't got nothing else to lose. So I just worked my butt off and ultimately made my way onto special teams that first year, in which I led the team in tackles on special teams and became a special teams player of the year. And from then on, it was just building my way up, 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 and from a very lengthy linebacker core. I remember we had like 20 linebackers at the time for only two spots, and so just working your way up, ultimately to where I got to this year.
Man, that comes with like dedication, all that hard work, man. Like you even
Yeah,
said that it was like kind of tough for you to get on the field or something like that. So it's kind of like it has a little bit of what you see from Rudy, like you
yeah,
gotta still compete and you're considered on the scout or whatever, bro. It's like but you keep fighting and grinding at it. And so eventually you get your opportunity at that point. And like you said, the transfers and some people quitting, man, that kind of opens the door for somebody who's hungry. And then you tweeting about you want to tackle somebody, you're hungry, bro. That just means you love the game of football and you're willing to do whatever it takes.
yep, exactly.
Man, that's the kind of guy I like, man. A guy that just scratching and clawing, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's what we look for. But, you know, why should NFL teams draft you? What makes you stand out at linebacker, bro, from the rest of the class? Because I feel like the way you just describe it, it just tells me you're just a hungry individual.
Yeah, if scouts looking at me and everything, I just say that I'm very hungry. I'm a kid that when somebody says, hey, like you ain't gonna cut it, all right, I'll prove you wrong type of mindset. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a guy that's just gonna work their butt off. I'm gonna be the hardest working guy on that field. I'm gonna fly around, and do my job to 100% effort and fly around tackle. I believe I'm a very good tackler. I got speed that can show for it, and ultimately be a leader, someone that guys can look up to because I've been through the ups and downs and I understand what it takes to be at the highest level, but also I understood what it was when you're all the way down here and no one seemed to really care about you.
Yeah, like that, like you're showing that you're inspiring and you're pushing, like you make it possible. Like that's a clear message for some of the young generation. If you were to give that clear message to that future person who happens to be in that similar situation, what would be the encouraging message for that person that's in the same situation as you?
Yeah, to me, I always said, because I had some guys come up to me and ask me about this because they were in the same situation. Um, it's really just I bet on myself. I know what I'm capable of doing. The only person that knows, like, no one knows you better than yourself. You know what you are capable of doing. So at the end of the day, when a coach tells you this, that, and they're like, hey, you're not good enough, you're not you're gonna take it and be like, oh, all right, this coach doesn't like me, but no, he's trying to push you to be better. But at the same time, I don't want to I'm not going to technically listen to what he says because I know I can do it. If he just gives me a shot, I can prove him wrong. And that's what I tell other guys. I say, hey, a coach is going to tell you this. All right. Now go prove him wrong. Right. That's what
Yeah.
a coach is trying to push you to be better. That's all it is. It's not pushing you to, oh, he hates you, all this. No, he's going to say stuff that you probably don't like to hear, but then, all right, go out and do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I
And
would say.
you take it as fuel.
Yeah.
Like if he says you're not good at this spot, you need to work at that, or at least try to outwork those other guys.
Yep. Exactly.
And that's a clear message for these young generation, man. If it gets tough and you're getting behind, man, don't give up on it. Keep going, man. Like,
Yeah, too many of them be giving up too early, and I'm just like,
yeah.
you got to see it through a little bit.
And just like the way you tweeted on your little football thing, man, it shows that you were more determined for that. So I think that kind of shows what stands out about you is you love the game of football.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, so how do you prepare for your opponents and what's your pregame routine?
Yeah, so come in, you do your basic practice and stuff like that. So practice will get over. I'll leading up to the whole game, it will be more of a I'll watch film on my own, and really just be at my apartment, just really dissecting the film and looking for keys with the O lineman or where the running back might be lining up. Where the QB's hands are. Try to get a read on when the snap is coming, just to be ready. So I'm just looking at indicators, right? And then as far as when game day comes, it's you wake up. I always take a cold shower. You always got to have a cold shower right before you go into have your meals, your last like team meeting, and then it's really all right, we're on the clock, and so I just put my headphones in, and I'm actually a big believer, so I was and Jesus. So I'd be listening to Christian music and just kind of soothe my mind and get me prepared to go out there and dominate, and then get a step on that field and be the most dominant person on that football field.
Absolutely, man. So, well, you playing the most important position on defense, you have the leadership qualities. So let's say adversity comes in your guys' way, which I'm pretty sure you've dealt with different ways of how the outcome is. Like going into halftime, your guys are down by multiple touchdowns. What would be the best way to motivate this team to wake up and just realize that the game ain't over until the fat lady sings?
Yeah, it's really just get in there and encourage people, right? You don't want to get into that locker room and just start bashing on people. Hey, like you're not doing it. Yeah, okay, yes, we are missing assignments. We're missing this, but hey, guys, we're right there. It's one play. When you make this one play, it's a different type of ball game. So we'll go out the second half and make the adjustments that we need to do. You make that play, and you're gonna watch the whole things shift in our favor, and it's really just cheering each other on, and really not just pushing each other down, because if you really got nothing nice to say, you probably should not say it at all. So it's really just making sure that you cheer your teammates on and encourage them no matter the circumstances.
Well, there's different ways how to do it too, but like some of them have to take the tough love and actually get
Yep.
better at their level and all that. So it's
Yep.
like, but the other outcome, let's just say you guys are up. How would you keep the team as afloat, like maintain what they were doing? Like let's say you guys are up by 2 touchdowns going into halftime, because
Yeah.
anything can happen, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's you just put the pedal to the floor and keep going, right? You don't want to give them an inch of hope that there is some sort of comeback that they can make, right? So it's not getting lazy in your executions. It's not getting lazy in tackling and running to the ball. It, you always want to extend your lead as much as possible because it's always a better feeling in the end. And really, when you come over to the sideline, it's hey, just yeah, we got to keep the pedal to the metal, and let's finish this out, and let's show them why we are probably one of the best defenses in the league.
For sure, man. See, that's a way to keep it. Don't get too ahead of yourself and always keep your head up because the game ain't over. So there's different ways how to handle the adversity. But like, okay, so what NFL teams have you met with?
So I talked to the Bengals, the Giants, the Lions. I've heard with the Colts. I've heard the Bears and the Packers.
How about
Uh,
San Francisco?
I have not heard from them yet.
Well, I mean, I guess you got a lot of good interest, so that means they're definitely checking out your film and all that. So that's what matters, man. When you put the film out there, they're gonna definitely pay attention to you.
Yeah, for sure.
So it doesn't matter what school you go to, the lead's gonna have to find you at some way, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, there's a D3 kid that is going crazy right now. He went to the he actually went to the American Bowl, and then he ended up going to the Reese's Bowl, I think, or the Senior Bowl, whatever it's called now. And he like they're saying like he was probably one of the best receivers there, and like it just shows you that no matter where you are, the teams will find you.
Oh yeah, that small college. Are you talking about Tyron Montgomery? Yeah,
I
that dude.
yeah,
That dude.
yeah,
That dude is good. He went to John Carroll University or something.
yeah, that did, yeah,
Yeah, he looks like he can separate and all that. And
yeah,
yeah, I was like trying to like, yeah, that's the thing. It's surprising how people would overlook him, but like what you're doing is you went to an all-star game. So what was the experience going to that one all-star game that you went to?
yeah. It was great. You know, you get to line up against the bigger schools and see like, all right, are you really built for this? Right? Lined up against a Clemson guy, a Georgia guy, a LSU kid. You know, it's just like, hey, all right, I can hang with these guys. It's no different. You know, and it's always having that right mindset. It is, yeah, I'm from a smaller school, but at the end of the day, I know I can ball and I'll go out there and showcase my talent. So it was a tremendous uh bowl game and just great insight and getting coached by coaches that have played in the NFL and coached in the NFL and understand, what you have to bring to be that type of NFL player.
Yeah, it prepares you against the best of the best, and you
Oh yeah.
showcase that against it. Like, I mean, I would say Northern Illinois is technically kind of like a MAC version of Notre Dame, if I'm being honest. Like the way
Mm,
they play football, they play great in different competitions. They've produced some good talents over the years.
yeah.
Like Jimmy Ward was a guy that I remember a while back. He's a friend of the show, and then your boy Miles was another one.
Mm.
And then I had that defensive end, what's his name, O'Malley. That dude
Oh
was
yeah,
good.
O'Malley. Yeah, that dude was crazy.
He was a good guy, man. I like this
Yeah.
tape also, man. I was pretty big on him, but watching your tape, man, I'm kind of impressed on how you're able to diagnose the plays and the way you kind of like. There's a lot of weakness to our game that we got to improve on. But what do you feel like the weakness to your game that you got to improve on the most?
I think I still got to get stronger in that aspect of the coverage, understanding where I got to be at in my zones, and just really tracking, the QB's eyes and not floating. I think at sometimes I kind of float a little bit and get out of my spot where I need to be. So it's just fine tuning that, and really, I say that's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, I guess coverage for some linebackers are something that they all have to work on in different ways, but you have the ability to make tackles, so your tackling ain't quite the weakness, but we all got something to work on.
Yeah.
So outside of football, who are you as a person?
I would say I'm kind of a quiet guy. I keep to myself. I don't like to go out and party, and stuff like that. I'll end up, hey, I'll call up my brothers and be like, hey, let's have a fire and just chill around the fire in my house and just talk about stuff. I'll have a couple friends over here and there. I just like to do stuff alone, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I like to go golfing. I like to fish. I like to hunt. I like to shoot. Uh, is really, and then I'm also big on family, so I tend to go home and play board games with my mom and dad, play card games. Ultimately, I just that's where I get my joy from.
Yeah, a quiet individual doesn't do too much stuff. I mean, a family person, that's nothing to be wrong with, but what do you take away from your entire college experience for to get ready for the next level? Because you went from North Dakota all the way back to Northern Illinois. What do you take from those experiences?
Yeah, I would say just be patient. Don't get ahead of yourself. There were so many times where I was like, man, think if I had 2 or 3 years of actually playing linebacker, like what I could have done, right? But it's ultimately taking what I was given and making the best of it, right? I was in a special teams role for a lot of my career. I made the best of that. Then when it came time to be a starter, all right, make the best of it. So, kids all the time get too far ahead of themselves. They start worrying about things. I would just say run your own race. You're going up against so many different competitions within your own team that at the end of the day, you are a family, but you want to focus on yourself and not really what other people are doing. And ultimately you just always want to have fun, right? Yeah, football is stressful, it puts a lot of pressure on you, but if you can learn how to just relax and make the game joyful, I'm telling you, you will have 10 times better practices, better games, and ultimately just enjoy being around the sport of football so much more.
Yeah, there's a lot about it, but like you've elevated yourself from a small school going to a pretty solid school that's it's a big school in a way. Like I would think Mac Conference is not far off with the Mountain West and other competition. It's right up there. Like that's a school that some NFL GMs will look at, because there's some good talent from the MAC.
Yeah, for sure.
So that I wouldn't say that's nothing wrong with it. Like you took the experience over there and you moved yourself from special teams and then became the starter and then that 1 year, that's all it takes.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, there's no way to go back, but you just got to take advantage of what the opportunity presents.
Exactly.
But so from all that, man, like it has to be like one of those it has to be insane just to think just one day, bro, that this is the time that you've ever dreamed about playing in the NFL, right? Was this a dream to you? Like, did you really felt the reality was surreal or it seemed like business as usual?
No, so I mean, growing up, I was always like, hey, I would love to play in the NFL. That's my dream. And then when I got a scholarship offer out of high school, I was like, that's just one more step towards, you know, getting to ultimate dream of playing in the NFL. And then um, there's the way my career panned out. I was like, yeah, like if I was like, oh, if the pro day, if I'll do a pro day, but if nothing happens, right? I feel like the pro day is like the end. So it's like you do your pro day. If nothing happens, that to me that fulfills like that I went out on a high note is what I'm trying to say is, and when I got to this last season, I just completely balled out and stuff. And I was like, hey, there's interest here, and my dream is still alive. And now I'm just gonna push really, really hard and show people that on my pro day that I'm a NFL type of football player.
For sure. I mean, you're already getting some multiple interests, so there's a chance for that. I mean, if you have a good pro day, man, they can push you up to the draft force. So it's anything's possible. You just got to put in the good tape, like they say.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the dream of yours was to play for the Chicago Bears, if I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm a Bears fan. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you got the last name Urwiler, but the Urlacher, and then it would be kind of like a dream. But what would you get out of the experience, man? Because you're getting it from, like you just said, the Packers have interest in you, bro. Imagine playing for a rival team, but you're just gonna have to be a fan of it at that point if you were to play for them, right? Or the Lions.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I'll be thankful for whatever team takes me. I said this in another interview. Like, at the end of the day, like, I love the game of football so much that I would die on that football field. It doesn't matter how much they pay me. I could come in and I say, hey, you don't gotta pay me nothing to run down there and hit somebody. I'm gonna do it to the
For the
best of my.
love.
I love this game, and that's why I just want to show people the love that I have for this game. It just means so much to me and what it has done in my personal life.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. It changes a lot in a lot of perspective. But just for those future prospects, why should they go to Northern Illinois, bro? Like, we got to convince those recruiters, man. Like, why would they have to go there?
Yeah, I think um Coach Hammock has done a wonderful job with the recruiting and getting kids in. You know, in today's age, it's tough for G5 programs to keep their players just because everyone's always about NIL money and stuff like that. But if you really want a team that focuses on developing you and making you a better athlete, and I'm proof of that. You go to NIU because they have amazing strength staff. They have amazing coaches that understand the game of football and where you need to be. Coach Hemick has coached in the NFL, understands what kind of players it takes to be in the NFL, and ultimately we have had good history of winning big games when we need to win, and moving to the Mountain West. It just shows you that people are respecting this program, and we're trending in the upwards. So if you want to come to NIU, uh, it would be a great fit for anybody that is ultimately just trying to get bigger, stronger, faster, and show people why they are a great talent.
Yeah, there's plenty of NFL caliber talent if you go to that program. So you don't have to go to the big time schools, but if you want to submit your own opportunity, Northern Illinois wouldn't be a bad option. It would be actually you can get a fresh start if you're from a different state and you can learn something new. But like you wanted to stay close to home, so it makes a lot of sense. But what were the defensive schemes that you guys run from North Dakota compared to Northern Illinois to what
Yeah.
compared to the
So
next level?
I was coming out of high school. We played in a three. We played in a 3-4. So ultimately, I was actually an outside linebacker. I played a lot of on the ball, and then drop tier flat normal or either blitz. And I think why North Dakota took a shot on me is because that's exactly what they were running at the time. And so when I came in, I was a outside linebacker. So I was always up on the line. I was either blitzing or just dropping, to the normal flat. When I came to NIU, it was a little bit different. They were going to a 4-2-5. So it's really only two linebackers, and they say, "Hey, Quinn, we're going to move you to the Mike linebacker." And so to be honest with you, I never played Mike or inside linebacker until I got to NIU. So it was a lot of learning. Okay, now I got to read, right? I'm not just reading the end guy in the line of scrimmage. I'm reading, the guards, the center, the back, the quarterback. So it took a little bit, but yeah, the schemes were crazy different, and it just shows you that I'm comfortable in switching positions and also being very competing at a very high level, no matter where I'm at on the field.
Well, you do have the versatility to play any of those linebacker spots. I mean, you were playing outside in the beginning, then you played the inside at this point at that. So it's got to be kind of unique in a way to be versatile to play the outside, right?
Yes, exactly.
So if the NFL wanted you to play some Sam, they probably would be you probably be pretty good at that spot too, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
But for the Will, it's the same thing as Mike, but different responsibilities, But Mike's is mostly the quarterback of that defense. They have to communicate and be all in good position.
Yeah, it's really like they're all. I mean, you really think about it. Linebackers is all of them are on a string. So it really, at the end of the day, you should know what the Sam is doing or what the Will is doing. So really, I feel like anybody could play those positions that played linebacker.
For sure, man. So we'll do rapid fire, get to know more about you, then we'll end it on a really good high note, man. Okay, you got a cheat diet, man. You can take a break on one of your healthy diets, man. McDonald's or Burger King, man, if you had to
Oh.
choose.
Probably McDonald's. They're both trash.
Oh, I'm pretty sure since you live in Illinois, if you had to choose another one, Chicago deep dish or the Detroit style pizza, man.
I'm not a fan of deep dish. I'll probably go Chicago or what did you say, Detroit style?
Yeah, Detroit style's deep dish, or what is it, a pan pizza one?
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, get to know a little bit more about you, and then we go with Walmart or Target if you had to choose.
Walmart.
Okay, like even though some athletes haven't been drinking a lot of soda, if you had to choose between Coke or Pepsi, which one is it, man?
Coke.
Can't go wrong, man. But and all that, man, that it has to be a great journey for you, bro. Like just from where you're at to going to the next level. So what are you currently doing? Like, are you training and going into a pro day, or what's the plans for you going forward?
Yeah, so our pro day will be March 12th. I've been training for the past, I want to say, close to since the first week of December. I've been training. So yeah, March 12th, just training my butt off, and can't wait to show the scouts what I'm all about.
For sure, man. And for those people, man, tell them who you are again, and then we'll pretty much go on a good note, bro.
Yep. My name's Quinn Urwiler, Northern Illinois linebacker.
For sure. And for everybody else, man, go check out linebacker Quinn Urwiler, man. He comes from Northern Illinois, man. This guy is like a making of the movie like Rudy, but does it the hard way, man. If you put the hard work, you can be just like this guy, man. And check out his film. He had 150 plus tackles this season for the Northern Illinois team, man. This man is a tackling machine. I guess you can say he's the Terminator, right? He's on the field, man. He doesn't give up. But in all seriously, thank you guys for tuning in, man. And yeah,